This is the case of Susan Powell and the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. If you want to know more about this case, please continue watching.
You are watching Roll a Mile in My Shoes TV.
Authorities in Tacoma, Washington are investigating the 2009 disappearance of a Utah woman when they found blood in her family home and a handwritten note in which she expressed her fear about her husband and her potential demise, according to unsealed documents. This woman's name is Susan Powell, and she has been missing since 2009. The files raise further questions about why Susan Powell's husband was never charged in her disappearance before he killed himself and their two young sons in a gas-fueled inferno in Washington state earlier this year. Investigators in West Valley City, Utah, never arrested Josh Powell or even publicly labeled him as a suspect in Susan Powell's disappearance. A prosecutor in Washington state who was getting a first look at the files said it was his case. He would have charged Josh Powell with murder. Now, I wonder, besides the blood and the handwritten note, or suicide letter as some articles have called it, what more evidence did the investigators find besides the fact that this man killed himself and his two young sons? What more evidence do they have to believe that he is a suspect or the person of interest in his wife's disappearance / murder? Because although they did get a warrant to search this house and they found a bunch of documents or a life insurance policy that totaled $1.5 million and I guess a large amount of her blood on the floor, I think there might have been more than that to assume motive. However, people have been known to kill for less and stranger reasons. So I feel like there's more than this to the case, surrounding her disappearance, other than there's a $1.5 million life insurance policy found in the home. And you have to kind of think, what are the stipulations on this policy? Is it if she meets her untimely death in a suspicious way, or is that not one of the clauses? Because sometimes it will be stated in the policy that if a person commits suicide or is killed in a suspicious manner, that the beneficiaries don't receive any payouts after the person's death. Now, I find it strange that investigators found a safety deposit box that Susan Powell had been using, and this is where they found a handwritten letter titled Last Will and Testament. And she stated in this letter that she did not trust her husband and that they had been having marital problems for 4 years before she disappeared. Now, I wonder what were those problems including? Were they like financial problems that led to them having trouble in their marriage, or was he cheating and that led to their marital problems, or was she cheating and he found out and he felt like, he had to do something to save face and it just got out of hand, and then that is why he had to make it look like she, killed herself and wrote a handwritten letter or will and testament before her disappearance? Or did he force her to write this letter and that is when he killed her because he knew what he was going to do, before he did it, which, means that it was premeditated? The reason I asked this question is because she also stated in this letter that if she dies, even though it looks like an accident, it may not be one. Because many times we hear people, write these things out in letters and, might leave them with someone who they trust, and they tell them, hey, if anything happens to me, give this letter to the police. And she, did make sure that she stated in this letter that, hey, even though it may look like an accident, it might not be one if I end up dead, because people will tell their spouse or their partner or girlfriend or boyfriend at the time that, if you leave me or cheat on me or whatever the case may be, I'll kill you, and make it look like an accident. We've heard that too many times before. It's sad to say, but it's true. People do tell their spouses or partners this, all the time. And the reason I say this is because one of the children, Charlie, told investigators in an interview shortly after Susan disappeared that she had gone on a camping trip with them. I guess they took a camping trip right before she disappeared as a family. And he said that she had gone on the camping trip with them, but she did not come back home and with them, but he didn't know why, according to the investigators' files. And that was a few weeks later, he told a church member with no emotion, my mom is dead. And I can't understand how you can go from, oh yeah, my mom went on a camping trip with us, but she didn't come back home with us, but I don't know why. And then a few weeks later, when you tell your church teacher this, you have no emotions about it. According to documents, Susan's husband moved with the boys to his father Steve's home in Puyallup, Washington, but Steve Powell, being the creep that he is, was charged with voyeurism and child pornography last September. And the boys were placed with Susan Powell's parents for their safety. Now, was arrested for voyeurism and child pornography. What in the world was he probably doing to those boys, seeing as Susan was not there to protect him anymore, protect the boys anymore from whatever his creepy thing with children, as all pedophiles are, seeing as his, creepy obsession with that kind of stuff was, what was he doing to them in their mother's absence, seeing as she's, disappeared? And why did they feel that they had to, place them with her parents for safety purposes? And it's crazy because you would think that since he got away with possibly unaliving his wife, you would think that he would slow it down, cool it down, and, keep a low profile. But no, he just had to go all the way with being a creep and, do this voyeurism thing. And then they found child explicit materials on his computer or on whatever device they found them. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I don't like child abusers and pedophiles. I think that there should be a certain way we deal with or handle those type of people. And if you have watched any of my videos or listened to any of my videos, you know what I mean when I say that. So I'm not going to repeat that, but I just feel like they should be handled or dealt with a certain way. And that goes for the people who say leave that stuff in the past as well, because I feel like on some creepy level, people who feel like that should be left in the past and nothing should be done about it, I feel like they're with the shits too, so they need to be dealt with just as well as the pedophiles. But that's neither here nor there. That's just my opinion and what I think. But on February 5th, a few days after incestuous images were found on his computer, this prompted a judge to order him to undergo a psychosexual evaluation. Josh Powell then proceeded to lock a social worker out of his rental house. He attacked his boys with a hatchet and then ignited the home in an explosive gas-fueled inferno. The social worker was not injured. Charlie Powell was 7 and Braden Powell was 5. And I feel so bad for these children. I wish they didn't have to go through that. And anyone with any information, please, please, please do not hesitate to call their local police department, which is the police department in Utah. Please, please, please do not hesitate to call the local police department in Utah or submit a tip online at fbi.tips.gov. Any information or tips about this case will help bring Susan home and give her family some closure either way. But hopefully she is still alive. But seeing as, his actions in the end, I do not believe that this woman is, alive with us anymore. But please, if anyone knows any information about this case, please do not hesitate to call the Utah Police Department or the FBI and give them a tip in locating Susan in some form or fashion to bring her home, to give her family some closure. But that is it for this video, guys. If you have not already, please make sure you like this video. Please leave me a comment down in the comment section below. And if you are not subscribed already, please make sure that you subscribe. And until next time, guys, I'll see you on the next one. And thanks for watching.